Hello everyone. Good morning if you're in the UK. Good day. Welcome to the stream. Gonna do a little bit of housekeeping quickly. I believe I'm live. Just gonna quickly check. Yeah, it looks like I'm live. Just gonna share the link real quick. Gonna go into a really fun topic today. I forgot to change the thumbnail. Oh, no problem. Oh, that's strange. Do that later. Share the little link. That looks alright. And I'll just share my Insta as well. Wait for that to go through. Awesome. Let me just get rid of this one. We don't need that. Make sure I'm still live. Can't even see the number. Oh, there it is. Awesome. Hi guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Will and this is C-Sharp walkthrough. So what I'm going to do today is something quite fun, quite simple, just basically kind of rolling over, bouncing off rather, from the workshops I've been doing, and in particular the video game ones, the ones where I kind of walk through how to make little video game functionalities, video game concepts and demos. I want to make a simple tic-tac-toe game. So without much further ado, let's get straight into things. So what I've done here, I've made a new project ahead of time. I'm going to run it real quick. It's going to be a very chilled stream as usual. And I did pull some of the logic from my previous workshop, from my project that I was working on at the time, which is still an ongoing series. I thought I would do a slightly shorter one, maybe one that could be done in a session or two, because the whole idea of making like a fully fledged puzzle game will probably take multiple sessions. So I wanted to make one puzzle game that's a little bit more simple. It just so happens making tic-tac-toe is a puzzle game and it's a very simple concept. So hopefully the implementation of such a puzzle game as tic-tac-toe won't take too long. Maybe a session or two, who knows. This depends on the pace that I go through this, the explanations and stuff, because I am trying to aim for like an hour. I don't really want to go too long with these YouTube live sessions. So basically I got my rendering flow worked out. I was thinking of using like XAML controls because the basic idea of tic-tac-toe is so simple. I was thinking of just using like XAML controls, but I don't know. I thought if you want to kind of future-proof the development process for extensibility, let's say if you ever played a game like, for example, Tetris 99 on the Switch, or like the old DS Tetris games, I think there's one on the 3DS, I forgot the title, the full title. You know, because Tetris is such a simple idea, where does it get the hype? Where does it get the excitement? It gets it from the graphics and the visuals. There's a lot of animations going on. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to use Win2D for this one because the performance just far outmatches what kind of graphical performance I'll get using XAML. And I might want to add animation sometime down the line perhaps. So obviously I've got my grid on the screen. It's going to be a very simple implementation. I've got my grid here, so that's just a demonstration of what I've set up so far with Win2D. And I'll go through some of the notes as to what I'm going to set out to, how I'm going to go about this today. So basically the idea is that we're going to have three main lists. At least this is my kind of approach, very simplistic approach. It's probably more optimal ways. Let's just say list 1, list 2, and list 3. If I can spell list. Let's put a dash there. And the idea is this list is just going to hold some elements, which kind of altogether the list composite the grid. So I'm going to have elements 0, 1, 2 in list 1, 0, 1, 2, this is like row 2, and the row 3 will be the third list, 0, 1, 2 elements. So 3 elements, 0 index, so going from 0, 1, and 2. And the idea is we're just going to do a simple set of if statements to basically say, okay, excuse me, underlying logic. If in any row, so let's just say row 1, and we're looking at, yeah, at row number 1, at the range between element 1 and 3. So let's say this row, between this range, if they're all true, then we know we have a, what do you call it when in tic-tac-toe? I guess you call it a match. If all of them within the range are true, then we get a match. And I also did here to accommodate for the vertical line. If an element in the row 1 and the respective element in the second row and the third row all match true or false, because we're dealing with like a Boolean variable in the sense that it could either be an X you drop or a 0 or O, whatever, however you want to look at it, then we can establish the vertical line. So it's like basically saying if row 1, row 2, and row 3 elements are the same, then we have a vertical line, right? Then we can have 2 types of diagonal line, either going from here, or going from here. Okay. Obviously, we have to do this for each space for the horizontal and vertical. So for diagonal top, left to right, basically row 1, number 1 here. Then we can check row 2, number 2 here. And just by using simple indexing, we'll be able to establish what tiles, what grid slots we're looking at. Row 3, number 3, if they're all true, boom, we have a diagonal top, left to right. And then row 3, number 1, row 2, number 2, row 1, number 3, if they're all true, boom, we have diagonal bottom, left to right. So that's going to be the underlying kind of approach to the logic. Maybe better ways to do it, but that's what I'm going to do for now, because it's just kind of, it seems to be the quickest kind of way to do it for speed. Now, I want to kind of program the visuals first, in a sense, whereby when you drop a tile, the visual updates, because I kind of like this approach when I kind of make these proof of concept game ideas of giving myself an idea of how it looks, because I'm really all for like user experience and stuff. So although programming the raw logic is fine, it just gives me a bit of a sense of what's going on, and it's kind of good for the walkthrough as well. You can kind of get a sense as a viewer of what's going on. So I'm going to kind of do the visuals and then add the logic after, kind of thing, if that kind of makes sense. Kind of blend the two a little bit. So without much further ado, let's go. Oh yeah, so some further stuff. I was thinking, you know, if we wanted to make it multiplayer, it's not going to be for this set of sessions or session, depending how long this takes, but, you know, simple sockets for LAN, multiplayer, and maybe a Snap game next. I think Snap might be fun. That's further challenges if I want to do once I complete this challenge of tic-tac-toe. So without much further ado, let's get straight into this. So I'm going to zoom in on the code and save that. And I kind of just separated my project, my tic-tac-toe. I'm using a universal Windows platform project type. Good deployment options and just good flexibility overall, and I can make use of the Win2D library, which is fine. It's what I'm used to for 2D graphical programming using C#. I have 3 folders: controller, models, view, and it's just kind of a folder structure to help me kind of just create a modular sort of structure with the project. So everything pertaining to my draw and update cores are in my models folder over here. My views just for now handles the loading of their animated resources, so all the assets and stuff, the file paths. And I have my input parser for the controller input, and this resource controller class handled in the controllers folder. So I'm kind of trying to very, very, very loosely borrow from the MVC pattern for my kind of folder structure, just to kind of help me really keep track of things. All right, so let's see, where am I even up to? So, okay, I think a good place to start would be to program controller input. We have a simple grid on the screen, and the idea is that when we press a button or click on the space, we basically input a tile. I thought to myself, when we want to input, how can we do it? Should we click on the space on the screen? I think what might be quite intuitive is, you know how on your keyboard you have the number pad? I don't really want to show mine, but I might as well. It's just an old keyboard. But you see it there? So when you click, I don't know if it's going to be in reverse, but anyway, when you click the number pad, conveniently, it's a 3x3 grid. So I can literally just do like each number pad can be for each space on the grid, and they will represent a tile. Get what I mean? So I'm going to do it like that. I think it's quite intuitive. It's quite nice, actually. And I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna assume player one and player two. Oops. Player one and player two are sharing the same keyboard. Anything to do with like multiplayer or AI kind of thing across different PCs, that's gonna be for another day or something. But for now, it's just gonna be like on a single keyboard. So I'm gonna keep it really simple. Let's see where we started. So I'm gonna go to my input parser class. I think that's a good place to start. So far, I do have some logic here because I pulled a lot from my previous workshop. My other workshop I was doing on the battle cards project. But I'm only looking out for WASD, as I like to say, so WASD. I'm gonna just make sure this logic is actually working. So I'm gonna put a break on W there. Make sure I'm actually keying down for W, which I might not be because the control names might be different. I don't even know if I hooked the event actually. I'm gonna check. I don't think I did. Which I just have to go to my XAML. I think it's just the logic that I need to actually update everything else. I need to check. Did I? Can't remember. I was kind of prepping things before the stream just so as to not kind of spend too much time with all of the render flow stuff. Just get straight into the logic. I'm clicking W, nothing's happening. Yeah. So of course I didn't actually hook up my event. And let's see. Just gonna resize that just to make my life a little bit easier as well. I'm just gonna go to my notes. This is from battle cards, just in case I might need. Where is the main CS? See if there's anything here that I need. VBox I set the event to. I think main VBox. Yeah, so just this logic. So I'm gonna just copy that just to save time. I'm probably gonna need the. Oh, I'm passing an argument. That's fine. Okay, so I thought I had to make a global or something. So I'm gonna go to my XAML. That's just sticking out a little bit. Move that out of the way. Where's my XAML? Right here. I'm gonna look for my viewbox, which I've named main VB. Gonna go into properties, and I'm going to hit the events panel. Gonna look for what is it? Key down. Hopefully you guys can see. Key down. Gonna zoom in just a little bit. Put my logic, which I just got from my other project. So I'm calling my input parser class, and I'm calling a function, I think. Yeah, a void function called parse key input, and I'm parsing as a parameter this E arguments, and I am accessing the key member. So I'm basically getting what key is pressed when I press a key from the keyboard when the viewbox is in focus. Let's just have a quick look at that. This will get called, boom. Then I pass this the argument E through this parameter. I assign it to global scope, because why not? And then I'm just doing a quick comparison. If key down is W, then I execute some kind of logic. So again, I'm gonna just run this. Hopefully it works. Sometimes I get some issues, like when I do some issues with XAML controls being in focus, and sometimes a bit hit and miss, I want to say. But you gotta just make sure you do it right. Like make sure you're actually putting your controls in focus. Basically. Get distracted. So oh my gosh, I hope this is working. Press up there for something. Okay, anyway, let's go to the main, see what's going on. I'm sure everything is working fine. Main VB key down, gonna put a break there. W, nothing's really happening. I'm not sure why. It might be that I'm not actually assigning focus to the control, which is fine. I just have to adjust that. Because I think what I've done is that my control is literally overlapping, my canvas animated control is literally overlapping the view box, which makes assigning control a little bit difficult. So what I'm going to do is just go back to my XAML. My view box is, as you can, if I zoom in a little bit, that's the dimensions of my view box. And that's the dimensions of my canvas animate control. So I might just adjust that, because I think if you click the control, it assigns focus. So I might do, let's see, expand this a little bit. But obviously, intuitively, you gotta make sure focus is assigned with minimal stress or effort from the gamer or the user. It should just work straight off the bat. Either like pressing a start button or something, which I could do. But I just want to check this for the sake of checking. See if I can give this a background just so I can see what is what here. Can I give the viewbox a background? I don't think so. There's no background property. There's no fill property either. That's fine. Just want to make life a little bit easier. Yeah, that's very strange. Okay, anyway. I'm going to just reduce the size of my animated canvas if possible. Okay, so it's kind of anchored to the control. That's fine for now. Let's go ahead and run that. Hopefully I was running in debug mode. So I have a habit of just running without debugging, but I think I was in debug mode, it just wasn't in focus. Otherwise I'll just set focus via like a button press perhaps or something. Yeah, I'm still not getting focused for some reason. Okay. Let's just have a quick look at the XAML. Okay, that's fine. I wonder if I can call up a event to give focus to the viewbox. Let's have a quick look. See if there's anything. Would it be got focus? It would be like get focus. I want to kind of check what the tapped does. Let me check this. If it's what it suggests, it will be obviously when you tap on the control itself. Just gotta make sure I'm getting that focus in. And then we can get straight to the logic. I thought this part might be a little bit temperamental. There we go. So tapped does work. So I am somewhat giving focus. I wonder if I can assign like a manual focus if there's like a property. I could check MSDN. I'm really hoping I don't break my stream because I've got a lot of stuff happening here. Again, this is a good opportunity to just let you guys know if the stream does cut out like it did with my last stream the other day, then I'll just be up and running again. So MSDN, let's just say XAML control assign focus. How to set focus in a text box controller. Let's have a look at this one. Oh, let's see if it's gonna be it. Focus. Visual primary. I would have thought that focus is raised when I thought focus is raised when you click, but I don't know. Allow focus on interaction. Oh, maybe I set this to true. Gets or sets a value that indicates whether the element automatically gets focused when the user interacts with it. I want that to be true, I guess. Not too sure what this does, but if it's what it says it does, if it's akin to the description, then I should hopefully have focus now. And I should hopefully be able to just interact with this via W. Still not working for some reason, which is very strange. So when I click the view box, That's very fascinating. Now I'm not getting anything. Let's restart that and see what happens. Yeah, I thought this would be quite temperamental. But I should be able to just deal with this soon. I should even put that in the constructor. Okay, that's done. Actually, let me just double check that's actually still working there. Okay, that's fine. One more time just to be safe. Main VB allows focus on interaction. Set to true. Wow, there's apparently focus, but still not doing anything. Let's find a workaround for this. Go back to my XAML. As long as I can just get a bit of interaction via the keyboard input, it's fine. I'm not too sure why subtitles just doesn't seem to work. I do get like hit and miss when I've worked with this before. Like as you can tell by the notes, I did assign it to the view box before other projects, so I'm not too sure why that happens sometimes. Hopefully I can get focus via the grid at least. It's very annoying. Plan B will just be to use the mouse click, but I really like the idea of using the keyboard. I'm not too sure why it's doing that. I'll spend like just like 2 or so minutes on this. Oh. That's fascinating. That's fascinating. So I'm just basically adding Windows current core window. That's fascinating. I mean, does that imply that I have to use the page key down? Because it's, but then I've not had this issue before per se. It comes and goes, which just fascinates me to no end. I shouldn't have called that main page like that. I don't like that naming convention. Key rooted event args. I didn't know about that though. Let's give this one a shot. because maybe it's routing. It doesn't get, maybe the grid doesn't get the direct focus because of it's part of the page. I'm not too sure. If not, I'll try that line of code, but I also wanted to see if this one works at least. Okay, fair enough. Windows current core window. I mean, the code seems quite safe, so I'm quite happy to use it. So let's not waste too much time. Let's see if I got the right namespace. Okay, so here. And I just route it to my control, I guess. Okay, that's fast. So, core window underscore key down. Let's grab this. Let's make it public. By heart, I don't know what the signature is, so I'm just gonna check it. Core window. Windows UI code. If all else fails, I'll just literally use like a GUI on the screen, or just like pointer clicking on the tile with your mouse key, which is what I really don't want to do. I just wish the key down would just work when it works, because sometimes it does, as I said, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so this should hook up. Let me just test it. I remember when I was working on the Parallax engine, my 2D framework, and I needed something like this, and it was so weird. Like, it would only work when I hit the tab button first, and then I hit a button, and I was just like, yeah, this is a thing. It's something I'm obviously missing. Maybe someone can enlighten me in the chat. Maybe I'm using the wrong event. Maybe it shouldn't be key down. Maybe it should be key pressed or something. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a key press. Just guessing at this point. Okay, we've got something. I'm gonna use this. I have no shame in that. I'm not going to lie. Oh, goodness me. Let's go back. I mean, the code is safe, and it's just, there's no license to it, so it's fine. And let me say Win2D, documentation, or whatever. Let's put it back here, even though I've got the tab for that. I'll just leave it here. Yeah, fair play. I'm happy with that for now. But can I access key? That's the only thing as well. So let's just double check that, because the logic was passing e.key. Let's hope that we can still access what we need. It would be virtual key, I think. Excellent, should be fine. I'm really hoping. By the looks of it, yes, it's fine. Oops. So I'll just the logic here, just pass it here. And now I'm just passing the key to the input parser. Oops. Wrong member. And input parser, let's double check that. virtual key it was. I'll go to the input parser. Make sure everything's right in the constructor. Yes, that looks about right. I'll leave these here for now. It's a bit of a waste of space, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. Do excuse me. Just want to make sure I have access to the key members, and I'm going to assign the number pads, because I just think it's going to be neat. You have to just click the number pads. I didn't want to kind of change it to using the mouse. When I know it actually it can work using the keyboard. You know, there's no point. Let's see what's going on, guys. We can get to the fun stuff. Even better, actually. Video on the screen. That's actually quite cool. Excellent. So, make sure the comparison's fine. I actually pressed Q. Yeah, there it is there, Q. Excellent. Yeah, we got a little bit of lift off there. Awesome. So let's continue with this. So that's the controller routing sorted out. Let's kind of try and parse the controller inputs. That's cool. Oh my gosh. Anyway, try not to get distracted. So let's see. Instead of W, let's change that. Is it numpad? Yeah, numpad. So I want numpads 1 till 9. Don't really need 0. Just get rid of this commenting. Get rid of this one. So the idea here is that when we hit a number pad button, we're going to execute some kind of logic. 6, 7, 8, 9. That's it. Again, I'm going to make this as very laid out and straightforward as possible for the sake of the tutorial, I guess, and just speed and simplicity. So we can just simply see from here what we are doing. And we're probably going to return after we basically validated that we have satisfied the condition. I mean, what you'd rather do is kind of like maybe loop through some kind of collection to kind of minimize the usage of repetition. But again, this is just going to be for the sake of speed and time. I'm not going to whip up an algorithm for that right now. Alright. So let's see, how do I want to approach this? Probably don't need to check this out so much right now, the NET++. So we're going to need a bit of a structure in the sense of having a list. I think we should draw the comparison in the models in the update loop. So all we're going to do here is just update like a public state. Like we have here. Actually, I've already got one here, so state. Okay, that's interesting. So what is player state actually? Okay, can I make this an enum of virtual key? Because if I make this an enumerated list of virtual key, it might just make things a little bit easier in terms of passing the state. And that way I can say, like, I don't know, num1, num2, num3, and such and so forth. So I'm going to just go on with this. Like such. And make sure I instantiate state, which I have there. So I can just basically say, okay, this global state is assign the value of key down. I don't know. I'm not too sure why I'm making a global reference here, but probably I was going for something earlier, but I'll just leave it here for now. I could have just left it like that. I could have just checked this global, which is also a virtual key. I just realized. Might have actually overcomplicated it a little bit. What is this? Let me double check it. Virtual key property. Yeah, why not just use this? Just less complicated. So I'll just do the assignment. So I've got press key. So I'm just basically putting press key in global public scope. Probably don't need that enum that I just created. Not a big fan of the repetition, but again, just for speed. Because I'm essentially doing the same thing here. It's probably a better way. I'll look for ways to improve the code afterwards if there's a bit of time. All right, I just want to get a working proof of concept down. Because what will happen is that once we have this state in global scope, we can then access its value, a reference to the value in a different scope, because it's public. So I could say, so I'll just copy that. In the models, I have my update loop, and I can say, okay, if my input parser, so this is my update function, basically. If my input parser dot key down, which is my global reference to the key down value, if it's a particular value, then we input an X or a 0. So I'm gonna have to check like state of who's the player turn. So is it player 1 turn, player 2's turn as well? So before I do that, what I'll do is just check for the state. Virtual key, and I'm just gonna have to do like numpad 1 and just such and so forth. Again, quite repetitious. If there's time, I will see if I can do to optimize. So yeah, this is looking quite good so far. I quite like the grid graphic. I had to make that myself. I spent a little bit of time just kind of trimming a graphic I had earlier. So I just need one more if block, which is basically just evaluating the states of the key being pressed. So evaluate any user input, and then we're gonna place, basically we want to tell the draw core to draw a, so there's two things we want to do. We want to obviously update the visual, and we want to update the backend. You know, I did say we're going to work on the visual first. Let's work on the backend first. I think that's a bit more prudent. So let's see. We have here an update class, draw and animation. I'm thinking of making another class to deal with state of the game itself and logic pertaining thereof. But you know what? Again, because of a time thing, I'm gonna just put the logic here in the updates. It's not the best because it's like it kind of ambiguates what this class does, but it's a little bit faster to get the kind of proof concept out the door. So what I want to do here, if I just comment so it's easy to kind of keep track, it's kind of like this bit. So that's the if evaluator, but we need our data structure, as it were, which is going to be a list. So let's construct a list. Let's make it a list of Boolean values. So Boolean being true or false, it will be either X or 0. So we'll make it a list of Boolean. And we're going to make 3 of them. We can put all 3 in the list itself, which I might do. So I'll say list, Let's see. Let's call this row 1. Actually, maybe row 0. No, I'll keep it as row 1. And then I might list all of these lists in a list so that I can access them all by index together. But for now, I'm just going to keep it separate. Then instantiate my lists. Row 3 equals new list. Excellent. And I'm going to populate the list as well. So let's see. That's fascinating. So they have to be a value by default. I mean, I don't know if I have the C# version that can make, I was going to say make them nullable values. You know what? Yeah, that's the thing I haven't thought of. What happens when we instantiate the list? I mean, I could put null values in there. Let's see what happens. Because obviously, if I say make everything true or false, that might conflict with the logic, the underlying logic to win a game. So we probably need some kind of validation. So I'm going to test it with nulls first. Oops, what am I writing? Let's see what happens. Alright, I'm gonna do that. Okay, so I probably can't convert null to bool, that's fine. Let me try something quickly. Yeah, I thought as much. What happens if I put this here? I'm not sure if this is gonna work. Oh, snap. That's fascinating. Yeah, so I was attempting to kind of make it so nulls are accepted. Didn't think it would do it for everything right there, but I guess it worked. But for good measure, I mean, that was a bit too much magic for me. I'm just gonna place this here, place these question marks here for good measure. And that should allow me to add nulls, to allow nullables. Hopefully that parses okay at runtime. Because what we need to do is then say, okay, so if we consider this is row 1, we need to know what we're looking at here. So number pad 1 obviously pertains, if you imagine the keyboard or look at your keyboard if you have number pad, this is number pad 1 here. Excuse me. That's actually row 3, I say, in this kind of virtual grid in my version here. So I just want to assign a state value. So I'm going to just simply say this row 3, and I don't really want to put magic in here, so I won't put magic in here. Row 3 equals true. Now here's the thing. Here's what I have to be careful. It's the fact of the matter that true or false depends on the turn of the player, and we want to make this as general purpose as possible. So what I'll do, where am I? Yeah, so I just have to make sure I watch out for that. Just a layer of validation should be enough. So when I'm checking for this, I'm gonna have another bool. It's gonna be like player turn. Something like bool, player, well, let's just say player 1, turn. Or actually, yeah, player 1's turn equals true. And I could just say, you know, something like this. I prefer to nest it here. It's just easier for me to read. So first it just makes it a bit more friendly to read human readable wise. So what I'm trying to say is, if the key pressed is this one here, number pad 1, then we have to kind of validate which player pressed the key, validate which player pressed the key. So what's the name of my boolean up there? Player turn 1. If player turn 1 is true, is that true? I might as well. Then we know player 1 hit the key, so now we can make it either X or 0. Let's just say for the sake of argument, X is going to be player 1. Where am I? So we're going to basically say, yeah, so it was row 3 indexed at 0. Zero, 1, 2. So let's make an enum for that. Let's just say row slots. Actually, no, let me not get ahead of myself. So what I'll do, I'll just go somewhere here. Where is it? Save time in a way. I'm just gonna copy this. Get my enum. Gonna add an enum enumerate list here. Row 0. No, keep it simple. Row 2. Row 3, like this. Now rename this to rows. Just so it's not too magic. But then I will, because we're dealing with indexing, programmatic indexing, I'm going to make it 0 indexed, like such. So what are we concerned with? Row 1, slot 1. No, sorry, row 3, as we got here, slot 1. So I'm going to say rows, I'm going to say row 1. It should really be slot 1. I did that wrong. I'm going to rename that in a hot minute. Let's make sure that's right. Int. Obviously it's expecting an int. First thing is going to change that. Just going to instantiate this. I think I'm missing something. So we basically validated user input. We validated it's the player 1's turn. Oh yeah, of course it's the key. Sorry, I was thinking out loud there. That's fascinating. Oh, I just don't know. I don't know. I just keep complicating things. The joys of coding sometimes. For me, at least. I can only speak for myself. Okay. So anyway, so what I've done, validated the player 1 has made their turn. Each number pad is akin to a slot here. And I'm basically just saying, okay, if player 1, then it's 1, else it's going to be false. So obviously, it's this. Didn't really need to make an instantiation there. I just wasn't sure if I could typecast. Just playing things safe. Okay, I'm just gonna say num1, which is what is it? Row 3, slot 1. Just so it's kind of easy to understand what's going on. And we're gonna, I am going to just copy this logic over. Oh, but before we do that, we need to make sure we switch the turns after every turn. So I'm gonna say something like switch player turn, and I'm just gonna say something like player 1 turn equals. I'm gonna invert the volume. Such. Oops, spot down. I'm going to simply return. Like such. And I'm going to just grab my logic block, basically. Place it here. But now I just have to make sure I'm looking at the right rows. So now number pad 2 is row 3, slot 2. So we've got here row 3, change the slot to slot 2. Row 3, slot 2. Row 3 equals rows, which is slot 2. That's done. I'm going to do the same for this. Oh, I accidentally copied empty space. Control V is what I want. So now we're here. Where am I? Got a bit lost myself. So this is row 3, slot 3. So I'm going to change that to slot 3, row 3, slot 3 for row 3. Make sure the keypads are right. Keypad 1, 2, and 3. Yep, that's fine. And then number pad 4, it happens to be this one here. So that's row 2, slot 1. Slot 1, row 2, slot 1, row 2, just like that. And it'll be the same row, row 2, but it'll be a different slot. Slot 2, but it happens to be there already. So row 2, slot 2. 2 more rows, including this one, and we're done with this, at least for this part. And then, where am I? Row 2, slot 3, row 2, slot 3, like that. And on the final row, slot 1 of row 1, slot 2 of row 1. Yeah, that's fine. Let me make sure I did that right. Wait, ooh, nah, I got confused. Do excuse me. Row 2, and then I'm on number pad 7, which is actually here. So it's slot 1, row 1. Ah, yeah, did that wrong. Slot 1, row 1. Oops. Number pad 8. which is slot 2, row 1, slot 2, row 1, and then the final block, number pad 9, is row 1, slot 3. Row 3, that's fine. That's fine. Slot 3, row 1. Okay, that should be the logic. Returning after every play. So hopefully this will run, because that nullable, the fact that I'm filling the list with nulls kind of worries me a little bit. But obviously I'm setting them as nullables, so it should be fine. So let's have a quick look here. Why don't I put a break? Where's the main page? Let's put a break just like at the end there. And I'm gonna hit a few buttons and see what happens. I'm gonna kind of evaluate to see, and hopefully just see that our list is being structured properly as we're inputting the information. So I'll just let Win2D, or rather let UWP load up. See, I'm doing for time. Just touching an hour. Alright, sweet. So let's hit 1. There we go. Okay, so now I just have to make sure. Okay, I will just hit a few more buttons. So 1, 2, and 3. Whoops. Small. What am I doing? Oh, I'm saying break mode. 2 and 3. And then what I'll do, I'll just go straight to my update loop and see what's going on. So let's see what's going on here. Sorry guys if it was a bit hard to read. It's probably, what's this one? Oh yeah, I also have to make sure I am setting the key down after each turn. Key down is basically on like a null state, so that I'm not on every update I'm evaluating the same turn more than once. Because if I'm updating, evaluating, if I don't refresh the key down, obviously I'm going to be evaluating for the last key press all the time. I don't think that's efficient. But for now, we make use of this. So number pad 3 was what I pressed last. I pressed 1, 2, and then 3. So it's going to go down to here, hopefully. Player 1 turn. Okay. Okay, that's cool. Setting the rows, assigning it to true for player 1. Index or orange. Where was I? I probably didn't construct my list. That's a list. I'm not too sure. Let me check. Yeah, I didn't construct it. Oh yeah. Ooh. Oh yeah, of course. Whoops. Let me double check. So row. This is three slots of nulls, but I forgot to populate rows 2 and 3. So let's do that, and then I'll just restart the program. So that should be where was I? Row 1. So 3 slots of nulls for row 2 list, and 3 slots of null for row 3. So that should take care of that, hopefully. I should do the refresh algorithm as well, the validation for refreshing the key down, I guess. But since I've already hit start, I will add it as soon as it breaks, I guess. Let me see. So after every turn, I could just set it to a null state, or for now, because we're kind of debugging things, I'll just set it to a key that doesn't really impact the game. We just obviously have to change that. So let's say, for example, let's see. Oops. Just before I return, because we're evaluating this, I'm gonna grab it. And then just before the return, I'm gonna change its value if I can. I wonder if I can change it to like nothing. Maybe I'd put it on escape. Kanji, that's really cool. Why not just do it like this? It's a bit dishonest because escape wasn't actually clicked, but it's just a kind of a placeholder, I guess. Although if someone press escape, it will validate this line of code. But again, this is just for debugging purposes, really. At this stage, place that there. Number 5. Number 6. A few more left. And finally, number 9. Save my project. Yeah, I could just continue, I guess. Alright, sweet. So I'll let this out, right? 4, 5, 6. I'll just check my loop here. It's gonna be a bit tricky now because it's gonna be on escape. So what I'll do, I'll put the break. I'll just select like 4. Actually, I already clicked 4, so let's do a different one. Let's do what's here? 4, 5, 6, 7. So when 7 is clicked, so I'll click number pad 7. There we go. If players are happy to be on player 1's turn. Oh no, I'm on player 2's turn, I think. So it goes down here. 7, which if I bring up the notepad, 7, number pad 7 is this one. So we have slot 1 of row 1 over there. And I'm gonna just check my data structure in a hot sec. Okay, so yeah, that makes sense. So we have, obviously we haven't selected 8 or 9, so false is player 2 on that row. Also row 2 I want to inspect quickly. So I'll scroll up. It should be or true or false or something. Oh, looks like I missed one. Oh yeah, of course, because what am I talking about? It should be true or false, just no nulls. It was true, false, true because I did it in order. So player 1, player 2, player 1. So it looks like our data structure is kind of coming along quite nice. And yeah, that's fine. I'm quite happy with that. So we're kind of at the stage now where we want to kind of put some visual cues on the screen so we know what's going on. So I think, let's see. Yeah, so I think what might be a good idea. Let me see. If I go to my draw call, I'll just scroll down. And I guess I could do for animate sprites. I can use this block of code. Yeah, instead of considering the tiles as sprites rather than like foreground assets or foreground objects. Where am I? So I'll go back to update just to see what I'm doing here. Make sure I've got public members so I can actually check the state. I'm gonna make these public. want to kind of make an observer style effect in that the draw core is observing the values here to know what it has to do. Yeah, that's fine. I need a reference to the update class in the draw core. Do I have a reference already? I might have put one already, I'm not too sure. Nah, so what I'm gonna do, see if I can make it private for now. Do I have a main page reference? Should do. Anyway, it doesn't matter if I don't. Main page reference. I'm gonna pass a reference to the main page from here, just to kind of help keep state as consistent as possible. I'm just gonna call this one main page for the parameter. Oh, wow, that was smart. Was that IntelliSense? That was cool. Anyway, so IntelliSense gave me a hand there. So main page ref, my global is assigned this parameter here. Sweetness. Okay, what are we doing here? So I'm gonna have to obviously update where I'm constructing this class. There's gonna be an error or two. Now I want to pass the main page, such. Alright, sweet. So now I should have access to the reference to the update class from the draw core. So I can probably go ahead and just thinking, do I want to make it a global reference? Yeah, because I'm going to be accessing it within the scope of the draw core. I don't want to mess up with parameters really. So I'll be like private, what was it? Models update, and I'll say like update reference, update ref. Won't bother with the commenting just yet. And I instantiate my update reference. Let's do it here. Might as well just do it here. So update ref equals main page reference. I might as well use this, so I'll put it underneath. We'll have a instantiation to my models from the main page ref that I'm kind of following through with, I think. I thought I did. Let me see. Update. Oh, I got the. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I meant update. I guess that's what I meant. Update. So I got my update reference. So now I can access my update class from my draw core, from my draw class rather. If I go to my draw core in animate sprites, let's see, update ref, I have access to my public members. Row 1, 2, 3, what's that? Oh, that's my lists. Excellent. Just what I need. Okay, animate sprites. This will be kind of like an if condition. Now, I had this thing where I make a list of rects, and I had issues. Maybe just the way I was constructing or something. I'm not sure. So I'm not gonna make a list of rects. Maybe I'll make one rect and just instantiate it multiple times as and when I need. Because what I want to do is have a rect bounds for the tile that says X and 0. And I also have a graphic, a nice little graphic to show like the numbers on the screen that you want to click. So let's see. For now, I will just focus on the tiles. And the so basically what I mean is that on the grid itself, there was going to be like numbers hovering over each tile, so you know what number corresponds to the space. But that will be after I do the main core functionality, which is actually getting the visual on screen now, since we got the underlying logic working. Alright, so essentially, let's see how I want to do this. We want to check through all the rows and see what's true and what's false. Or we're not going to regard the nulls. And we want to update the visuals accordingly. So it's kind of similar to our logic algorithm in the sense of the underlying logic. But this is now pertaining to visuals. So I'll be like, if row 1 might as well use a loop. Because we want to loop through all the contingencies within one call. So for int index, let's say this is assigned 0. Index is within the range of let's see, it's a 3x3 grid, so 369. Might as well not use magic numbers per se. Private const int. Let's just say grid. No, grid is like the overall grid. Let's say tile numbers. Tile number equals 9. Oops. So less than 9, and then index is incremented. And then I can basically say update reference row 1 at the specified index. Oops, which is index. Oh, but is that right? Because each row has only 3 slots, so I have to go back to that and change it. Tile count is quite good, I think. And because it's 3x3, we can use this in multiple places in a sense and get away with it. It will kind of make sense as I go along. So index would be 0 up until the tile count. So we'll be looking at each slot. If the value is true, oh, oops, change the name, tile count. Oops, might do commenting afterwards, I guess. Actually, I'll do it as I go. Update the visual to show which player made a move. Alright, let's see. So update reference row 1. My brain just went a little lethargic there. I drink some coffee, cold coffee. I have you know. It's actually tea. Guess it's iced tea. Alright, sweet, where am I? This update ref row 1, index if it's true. So update ref row 1, so if row 1 indexed at 0, which is the first slot, is true, then what I want to do is draw a graphic at the respective space, basically. It's just a visual cue, it doesn't actually really affect the logic. And we'll be calling e.drawing session, but we have to make our bounding rect. You know what? I might try to do that list of rect again. Where am I? Let's go up here. This doesn't. If the list of rec thing doesn't work, it won't be too bad. It just means I can't put it in the collection or whatever. I'm not too sure. Tiles. Let me say player tiles. There's only ever going to be 9 tiles on the screen, so we only need 9 rects. Wow. Instantiate my list of rect. Use a for loop for this. 0, index less than 9, increment index. Basically gonna add some recs to this rec list. Let's see what's appropriate. What are appropriate bounds? Obviously, x and y will be default at 0, respectively. Let's just say, I don't know, 80 by 80 sounds quite cool. Maybe the whole rec listing is just my mistake. Probably is 99, 100% actually. If it doesn't work, 100% my mistake. Anyway. So I've made a list of rect. I've made 9, which just means I can put up to 9 recs on the screen with a graphic of X or O. And now I can access this via index. Where's it gone? I called the list player tiles. Giving values a bit magic-y, but it's fine for now. I could have put it in the generate recs function, but let's not overdo this. Animate, I'm probably not gonna call my animation routine. It is a bit OTT at this point. And so I'm gonna just kind of focus on getting everything together before I start making things more coherent. So let's see. So we know we're here, row 1, slot 1, draw graphic at the respective grid. Get my draw core stuff. Oops. E.drawing session. What am I doing here? What's the first parameter? Canvas bitmap, which is fine. Let's check something quickly. Wait, let's check something. Okay, that's the list of canvas bitmaps, so that's fine. And it's the gameplay grid. Yeah, that's fine. Is it fine, really? Yeah, it's because I was getting so confused for a second. It's always going to be the same canvas bitmap. And so I'm passing the ret list, which I forgot the name of. Player tiles. Which I'm accessing via index. I might just hard code the value for now. Actually, I don't need to, do I? Like this. Index is going up to tile count. Let's see. So tile count is 3. So up from 0 to 3. If true, I draw on the respective slot. Wait, let me just make sure I'm coherent here. Draw image. Oh, okay, interesting. So I'm gonna have to set the XY values. Excuse me. So this is where I'm gonna have to kind of run this and see what happens, and then I'm gonna have to space out the cards accordingly to the screen. A bit of experimentation might be needed. Which means that just at constructor level, I will have to just make sure I'm setting the bounds of X and Y accordingly. Where's the constructor bound? It's up here somewhere. let's kind of see if the draw logic is sound, and I hope I loaded the resources correctly, which I did. I was dealing with off screen. So I'm basically saying if row 1 is true, row 1 slot 1. So let's try and make this true. As player 1, we're gonna hit the number 7. We're gonna try that, and hopefully a graphic will show up somewhere on the screen. But then I'm gonna... Okay, that's fine. I was thinking of something. I was thinking of the fact the draw core is always going to be rendering on the screen, and that's obviously what we want. This thing's kind of in the way. Sorry, guys. And I'll just quickly check for time. I'm going to just wrap this up, the core functionality, as quick as possible today. This sesh. That load up. Okay, object reference not instance of an object. It's null right now, so I'm gonna have to put a try catch there because nothing's been clicked. Hopefully that takes care of that. I have to restart. Yeah, I might as well. Let me just double check to make sure that's right. Update ref. Oh, even the update ref is null for some reason. Make sure I'm instantiating that properly. Oh, that's so strange. That's very fascinating. Let me stop that. Hopefully be okay. I think I had that issue. I had like maybe just needed a try catch basically. I think. I'm puzzled as to why update ref is null. Ah, okay. You know what I'm gonna do? Name page ref. It's very strange. Have another look at that. Maybe it's stepping over the line or something. Using different reference. Okay, so update is actually hasn't been constructed yet. I have an idea, but I don't know if it's a bit over the top. I want to update the reference after this is. So let me see what I'm doing. I'll give it a shot. This is going to be so strange what I'm about to do. Just to make sure I don't get like this kind of weird null situations. really don't feel like this is necessary, but I'm gonna just give it a shot. I really don't like what I'm doing here. Draw is constructed apparently before update. So by the time I'm trying to construct this, draw is already constructed. Ah, man, I'm not really feeling that. But let's see what happens here. Otherwise, I might need to maybe do like a setting, like a initialization code outside of the constructor and call it after I know the update has been constructed, instead of doing it this kind of weird way. But if it works, which I'm not sure if it will work, so let's just get rid of that. Where am I? Animate sprites. I want to kind of follow through with this. Yeah, I thought so. Oh gosh. Didn't know what I was doing with that. Alright, so I'm just gonna set initialization code because yeah, that was kind of, I had that coming to me there. Do excuse me. So if I go back to the drawer, I get rid of that. Put that in its own initialization kind of logic block. So if I say something like this, public, oops, yeah, public void initialize members, something like that. Stuff like there. So now I will have to call this properly. So let's see, try catch. That should handle any known situations, I guess. Hopefully. I'm not 100% sure. Because the fact is that my update ref was null. So I just have to make sure that my update class is null. But is not null. But the thing is, the update class wasn't null though. Which kind of leads me to think that it's not to do with that. I mean, a part of me is tempted to do something like this. And I don't really like, I don't want to do this. Yeah, it's not what I want to do right now. So let's stick with the initialization way of doing things. If I check, update is the last of the draw, update, and resources to be initialized. It's very strange, but well, I just want to see exactly what's going on. I'm gonna call initialize members. I mean, this is kind of strange, but then this might not work in and of itself. But it wouldn't make sense to me that by this point, Oh yeah, because obviously the draw call happens before the update is constructed. Just have to be careful with my timings. I could do something like this, let's see. When I input this, parse key input. Let me just double check what I'm doing. Alright, so basically guys, I just put a little bit of initialization logic to basically make sure that my member, I'm referencing a member, making sure it's not null before I try and initialize or reference a member in my class that was null at a certain time. That's all I was trying to do. I think I got it down. That's just have to be careful with the draw and update calls and threading considerations. Yeah, I got it. Just about. Obviously, I'm referencing the wrong thing. That should be a different graphic. But yeah, I've got a towel on the screen. I like how it disappears when I hit 7. Like it just disappears. All right. Make sure we're referencing the right drawing as well. Draw the graphic, so make sure we're looking at the right sprite sheet. Obviously, we don't want the gameplay grid. I made a mistake there. Let me just check something. We want player 1 is X. We just decided for arbitrarily X tile, and it will be 0 because I think it's just. Let's check what that is. X tile. Is that correct? Sprite sheet. What's the value of X tile? 0. Let me check my sprite sheet logic. I just want to make sure I'm doing this right. What's in? And that's the sprite sheet references. Number tile, that's 8. I'm not using that right now. I think I might need another set of references to indicate, but then X, my sprite sheet only has, let's see, what am I doing? Yeah, that's fine. Make sure got my resources set as well. I'm kind of doing things in blocks, so now I'm just basically checking to see if I'm loading the correct resources, which I'm not. It's showing the grid, which should be an X. Then once I get that down, so I'm going to check my sprite sheets. because I'm referencing 0 and it might be a different index I need. I'm even questioning why I have this. Oh yeah, okay, fine. Oh yeah, because I'm referencing the sprite sheet. Okay, cool. What would happen if I do it like this? Which I shouldn't be using magic numbers, but for now I just want to get things off the ground. So again, magic numbers aren't great here because this one, I'm trying to represent a position in the sprite sheet list. If I just go here, animate, draw, where am I? I want the animate resources. This one. Load payment from file path, generate resources. Just go like this. Just want to double check to make sure my resources are loaded. So I'm going to check my file paths in my list. Okay, so I have my, where's my sprite sheet? Let me just check this. So I have 1, which should be the background, 2 count, which should be the x0, and 9, which should be my number tiles. I have numbers 0 to 8, this is correct. I've got tiles 0 to 1, PNG, and they're loaded. And I've got GG underscore 0. So I just have to make sure I'm referencing the correct parts of my sprite sheet. If I go back here to the draw call, to draw functionality, draw class rather, the home in here. I'm just going to restart that. I think I kind of bugged it out a little bit. Shouldn't really pause that there. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, I don't think I like that. Huh, what have I done? Hope I didn't break anything. I didn't access the background. I didn't change that, so it should be fine. Fascinating, what happened? I didn't change anything here. I'll go back to the draw call. Oh, whoops. I shouldn't have done that. I was in the wrong local function. Bit worrying that still showed a blank screen though. Just have to make sure I get my references correct. So, check for any comments. Don't want to bug up the stream if that's all. Okay, no comments so far. Alright, let's see what's going on. And this is really, even for me, it's really chilled. Like, I'm not saying much, which I do apologize for. Sometimes when I'm focusing a little bit, I tend to just kind of be a little quiet, be on the quiet side. I'll probably just put this out so we can see as well where we are. So I'm trying to just validate, just kind of verify that I am referencing the correct graphic. So if I go to my sprite sheet index, my sprite sheet, right now I'm passing an index of X tile. It says gameplay grid. Okay, I don't know if that's correct. So essentially I should be passing a 1 at this level and a 0 at the lower level, which is here, but this has to be 1. I really want to avoid magic numbers. This X tile, let's see where it is, should be 1. Now, that's what I mean by I need another set of references, because I'm using this somewhere else, and it's doing a different functionality. So I'm not going to modify that right now, but rather this is more for the animations itself. I think I'm not 100% sure. I kind of did make a mistake there. Sorry about that, guys. So what I'll do, I'll just say, excuse me, I'll just say tile indexes, just kind of make things simple. Gameplay grid, 0. There's 2 in, there's, oh gosh, let me think. X tile. Is 0. This one is 1. But then that should still work, I think. Let's run that again, see what happens. Alright, 7. I will look at the reference spreadsheet. Xtile should be 1. So I need to pass 1 and I need to pass 0. And if I look at 0, see if I can get the file path. I probably won't be able to at that level of nesting in the debug. Yeah, I'm passing the wrong thing there. Let me just check this, make sure I'm just doing the right referencing. It's fascinating how it was coming out as gameplay grid. Oh wait, hold on a minute. Oh, I didn't update my thing, did I? Oops. Oops. Let's see. Oh gosh. Frame indexes. I don't even know what it's called. I forgot the name of the enum. Tile indexes. This should be 1. I forgot why. I need to double check that. Oh yeah, because grid is 0, 1, and this. These are both 1, and then this is 2. Kind of got confused with my referencing there. Hopefully that's correct. These are both 1 because they're both in the same slot in the sprite sheet. This is the first slot 0 index, and this is the third slot 0 index at 2. So yeah, I got a little confused there. So I'll do like that. Tile index, Xtile. Let's check out what comes up. Yeah, Xtile. Makes a nice little neat way of showing things. Let's just hope it works before I start explaining things. And then if the graphics show up okay, then I can just kind of start positioning things, and then I can wrap up with the underlying logic to verify a winner of the game, and that's it really. There we go. Obviously it's the wrong graphic, it's the 0, I was aiming for the X. Let's just quickly see. Not the best graphics, I'm not very artsy like that. Let's have a quick look. Tile 0 is that one. Oh yeah, of course, that's what I was going for. So player 1, okay, that's fine. It doesn't matter. I just thought it would be X, but it's 0. It doesn't matter. Okay, sweet. So what we're going to do, guys, we're going to just position this to where it needs to be. We're going to code the other positions, and let's just say, I don't know, I'm going to move it down by like 200 and maybe like by 200 or something like that. And then you're just going to wrap up with the underlying logic. So we'll almost finish this when the player selects a tile space, then their tile is dropped. So I will do that. I will consider this done. But what we want to do is to program all placements of tiles, and then we're going to program the logic of winning, basically. Sweet. So if we just kind of, okay, let me just double check how I was doing this. So make sure this is correct, because I know I'm using a loop. So I have to be as general purpose as possible. Alright, so because I'm using looping, what am I saying here? Checking tile count, which is 3. If I might separate out to 3 different loops for each row, just to make my life a bit more easier. So if this row 1 index is true, then I draw X tile, player tiles index. Yes, that's correct. So it's row 1. Now what I want to do is just make sure I'm constructing my rect in such a way that the positions are a little bit more accurate. So where am I constructing my rect list? Player tiles, I think that's my rect list. Yeah. Kind of begs the question if I'm going to use a loop at all. Kind of thinking not to. The values have to change anyway. Alright, I'm not going to complicate this too much. Again, just getting the idea out of the door. So we have 9 tiles with 9 different positions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And of course we want to just kind of change the XY positions. So I'm going to just experiment with this. Let's say 80 for the first one. See where that lands on the screen. And then if it's appropriate, then I can just kind of work out where the rest should go as well. Kind of thing. Just by estimation. So we're going to be like 2 hours and a bit for this stream. Okay, that's just about nearly there. I want to round that to like maybe 70 on the X and maybe like 78 on the Y. So I think it's XY. Yeah. I'll go like 78 and I'll go like 70. Just wanted to kind of sit a little bit more flush there. Guess we might need validation so you don't end up hitting a not that it really make a difference, I guess, but if someone spends a turn, something to think of, someone spends a turn hitting the same tile they've already set or another player's tile, it shouldn't override it. Something to think about. Okay, overshot on the X a little bit. On the Y-axis, sorry. What's the X-axis saying? I think I want X to be 70. Got that mixed up. this. Okay, let's wait for my program to load up. I'm gonna hit the button, 7. Ah, that looks okay, doesn't it? I think it looks okay. So that is the 0 tile. And so if we consider that like the default position, I'm going to increment by the width of the rect and the height of the rect, which happens to be 80. Try to keep it as like kind of even as possible. So I have to just make sure I'm doing this correctly for the respective rows. So I think I'm adding here. This is for this tile. The next one I add will be pertaining to the second slot of the first row and such and so forth, I think. Because I am using one rect struct. Do I need 3 rect structs? For now, I'll stick with the 1. So let's go. Hopefully I got this right. Let's do this. I'm going by 80, aren't I? Because it's the length of 80. 80 to 10, 20, 30. That's 3. And that's 70. 70. Is it the right one? Ooh, goodness, I'm overlapping. So 70, 150, 230, then obviously it repeats, doesn't it? So 70, so I made a mistake. 150, 230, 70, 150. It's just an approximation. As for the X values, 78, 78, 178, 650, 258, 43. Then I just repeat the values. 78, which pertains to the Y value up here. 78, 158, and 238? Yeah. 78, 158. If my numbers are correct, it may not sit 100% flush, but as long as we can convey the idea, we can kind of arrange the grid size and stuff to kind of accommodate for these things. Make sure I'm doing this correctly. This is for row 1. Let's see what happens. So I'll try and put a block in the first slot and then like a different slot and see what happens. So that's the first slot. But that didn't work. Let's see what happens. That should be false, I think. That's true. Okay, darn it. Forget what I said. So I'm updating the visual. Because it's a hard-coded value, of course. Maybe that's why. Because index always changes. Interesting. Index is index is 2. So no, so I haven't put a tile yet, but my spacing here for the middle tile is off. That should be drawing, what am I drawing? 0. Okay, I want to see number 1. No. That's not right. Maybe that's why. Okay, that's drawn. Index updated to 1. Look at that. Row 1. Okay, obviously, because I haven't done the false bit. Okay. And that's no. Okay, that's fine. So I'll just do. And now I'll draw for the X tile. Oh, sorry. See, that's why I got confused. The X tile, I wrote it as 0 tile, as you can see there. I just got it backwards. So 0 tile. Whoa, make sure I'm doing this right. What's the value of X tile? Really have to make sure I'm getting my referencing right. Really don't like how I'm doing that. The sprite sheet, I need to reference the inner nesting as 1, which pertains to this. See what's going on there. And e.drawing session. What's the index here? 2. Two is 230 by 238, which seems about right. Is it? This is 7015, which is actually the wrong positioning. And I'm drawing index 1, tile O. I know some of this is basically incorrect. Tile indexes, tile which is 1. Kind of got it wrong there. So 1, index 1. So I'm drawing the other graphic, it seems, but in the wrong place. It might even be going off screen. Oh, that is okay. Firstly, I like how that looks. It looks nice, but it's not what I want. It looks really good, but it's not what I want. I'm just getting the index incorrect. But we're getting there. We're getting there. So now I'm overriding it. See, remember that validation I said we have to take care of? I'm overriding the turns, which is not a good thing. I just simply got the row wrong. Which one's this X at the bottom? I don't know. Not sure why the one at the bottom is not computing properly. Okay, well, we've got the basic gist though. We'll just have to make sure all the positioning is right, because I'm basically clicking. So it's just so you guys know, I'm actually just trying to change the top row. 7, 8, and 9 is the buttons I'm focusing on, and it's pertaining to the wrong rows. So I just have to make sure I'm doing that right. So when I do 8, it's the middle row, right? But I want it at the top. When I press 7, it's the right place as well in terms of the left-hand side, but it's at the top, so that's fine. I just have to adjust that one. So I'm gonna go back to the debug. Let me check my rows. X, Y. So this is, let me just check my notes as well. X7078, X150. Okay. That should be 78. Oh, okay, I got it wrong. And then 78, because it's all row 1, so I want it like that. Just so I don't forget the number. 238. 158. And this should be 158, I think. 158, 158, and then 238. What I do? 158, 158, and 238. And 238. Left, middle, right, left, middle, right, left, middle, right. Okay, so I got my numbering a little bit wrong there. Let's just check that again. Hopefully, so what I'm gonna click on the keyboard, I'm gonna click 7, number pad 7, 8, 9. So hopefully we should get some tiles 0x0 if I'm not mistaken. My code may well be wrong, as I overlooked. It's always great to debug. So I'm gonna check that now. Oh goodness, okay, this is obviously doing the wrong thing. It's not respecting the null values. I mean, that's 7. I'm gonna click 8, so it stays the same. I'll press 8 again, turns to 0. 9, and that 9 should, hopefully the far right should turn to 0. It doesn't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 70, 150. Well, then it's rendering at first, but it's not updating, which is very fascinating. Did I program for number pad 9? To check my input parser properly. But the positioning is fine, because this X on the right, far right pertains to this one here, this row. Farthest right 230 at the top row on Y78. It just is not updating. Obviously the value should be null at first, so I shouldn't be drawing at first. So really this shouldn't happen. They were X, so I'm guessing it was because I need to be a little specific. It was evaluating null for true. So this takes care of one thing, I think. Let's do this step by step. And then I'm going to see if I'm actually passing the number pad 9, because it doesn't seem like it's working. that'll probably be something to do with the input parser. Numpad 9 is there. Okay, let me see what happens. 7, 8, and 9 doesn't work. It's very strange. Oh goodness, what did I do? Huh, that was very strange. Let me restart that. That was weird. It's like I clicked something else. I don't know what it was. 7, 8. I'm gonna hit 9. Okay, I'm gonna hit 6. Hit 3. Hit 2. Hit 5. How did that button come up? Ah! So I have to press 9 twice. I don't know why. I think it's something to do with the fact that it's the last in the row. Let's get to the bottom of this, shall we? This is a culprit here. This doesn't work, but I know numpad 8 works, so we're going to debug this both. I'll start with 9. That's weird. Key downs are not showing up. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong thing. So numberpad's been pressed. Key down is updated. So key down, I'll just check the value, is escape. That's why. What a fascinating thing. It's okay, I have an idea what's going on. Where am I setting that escape state? If I go back to the main page. I can't even find where it's where I'm setting the null value. I think it's in a different class, and that's what's making things trippy. I think it's the update class. I can't remember where I did it. Yeah, I shouldn't be doing this here. I think this is an issue. So I shouldn't be updating values in my animated update when the input parser should be handling it. And you know, the fact I'm calling the input parser for main page ref, I don't think that's the most self-sufficient way to go about this. It should be like maybe, I don't know, maybe at the end of the call itself. That's definitely messing things up. I might need a workaround. So if I return, and look at the input parser, this only fires when something is hit. So I suppose because this isn't a loop, but like a call loop, like a draw call loop kind of thing, unless if I call this check in the update loop, could help kind of iron things out a little bit. Where was I? Trying to think of the best kind of solution here. So I could be like, okay, input parser, key down here. Because the draw call has to evaluate the key. Okay, got it. So really it should be at the end of the draw call, if I'm not mistaken. Because the draw call needs this value. That's what I'm thinking. If I'm going to update outside the input parser like this, I may as well update at the draw call after I've used the main page ref member for the key down to know what's what, I think. I'll just do this. Just keep going down. Such. And now if I go to the draw call, update ref, drawing. I don't know if I got this right in my head. Do I have a main page ref here? I don't know if this is correct, but I'm gonna just go with the flow. See what happens. Still not getting that. So I'm clicking 8, clicking 7, clicking 9, nothing wants to happen. Because it's still showing escape. So press key is 9. Key down, which is escape, is equal to press key is assigned. That's still 9. That's been overridden or something. That's very strange. What happens here? Fair enough. Let's have a look at this. Because this doesn't make sense. Key down is assigned numpad 8. I'm doing something different. It's a bit worrying. Press key. I'm pausing here. Getting different things, man. The only place where I'm setting escape is here. And it's an issue, so for now I'm not going to call escape. But then the issue here is that we're going to have... But then I would have... Actually, it might be fine. As long as I'm not evaluating for null, I shouldn't be drawing anything. And if I'm evaluating for nulls, taking into account nulls, and I'm evaluating the logic according to that, then the underlying logic should be sound as well. That's literally off the top of my head. I'm probably wrong. So I'm gonna hit 7. Yeah, that I knew stuff like that would happen. 9. 8. It's the 9 that really bugs me. Like, why is it doing what it's doing? Like, why is the 9 button being different? I need to carefully see where in my logic there's a discrepancy. Here's my update. Let's double check resource control. I don't think it's doing anything. Might be something to do with this. So let's go through this. Player 1 turn. Row. Wait, before I do that, let me just check. Okay. Player 1 turn. True. Row. So this is the 8 button, which is whoops. Row 1 slot 2. So row 1 slot 2. Row 1 slot 2. Then the number 9 button, which should be row 1 slot 3. Oh goodness. Row 3 slot 3. That's a mistake. Row 1 slot 3. Row 1 slot 3. So little typo there, which may well have been the cause of all this. Row 1 slot 3. I'm checking this quite carefully now. Row 1 slot 3. Right. I'm gonna go back. Gonna put this back. So there was a discrepancy actually. And I'm gonna see if my change just now to my discrepancy has affected the output. Goodness me, man. Walking through this always takes longer than you think. I'm having a good time, so start with 8. 9. 9 again. There we go. That little typo was causing the issue. Let me try that one more time because I think I pressed it, nothing happened. Okay, sweet, it's just being sluggish for some reason. I'm not surprised. Okay guys, so let's clean up the underlying logic. We'll get to the underlying logic. Let's clean up the visual first. I want to clean up the visual, let the underlying logic catch up. And yeah. Now I'm having some issues, I think, with the state of the keys still. Hence why my button inputs feel really sluggish. But for now, that's not my primary concern. Let's see. So I'm gonna go back to, I'm in the draw core right now. Yeah, so I'm accommodating for row 1 over here. Let's actually just move that out the way. So again, kind of like taking the logic that works here and evaluate for each row. Make it simple and laid out. So I'm just gonna copy the code really. Not best of practice, but for this kind of first pass, for first pass should be right. So now I'm gonna just change this to row 2. Row 2. And since my rects, I've already set the positions of my rects, the visual should be alright. Let's update the variables. Gonna hit F5. Hopefully we have all the tiles in place, basically, according to the grid layout. rainy out here in this part of England that I'm in. I was hoping to play some basketball maybe, but it's looking kind of wet. Alright, 7, 9, pressing 4, nothing's happening. 5 is in the wrong place. 6 in the wrong place. I'm getting my Y values mixed up. Yeah. That's funny. Okay, anyway, let me see what I did wrong. I think I know what I did wrong. Let me see. So my Y values are just messed up, so... Oh, that's really fascinating. So just very slowly. X, X, X. Y, Y, Y. This should pertain to wrong. I'm probably referencing the wrong places. So when I press 4, 5, and 6, I should be looking at these positions here. Oh gosh, my mouse. This. So my indexing should be 3, 4, and 5. So tempted to just hard code it. I'm trying to avoid it. I think I missed it. Make sure I get this right. Spreadsheet. Where's the bounding recs? It's the recs that are incorrect. Just this one. According to the index, which only goes up to 3. Okay, that's the issue. I think I have an issue of just like using variable in 2 different places. So where am I using index? That's what I need to know. It might be okay actually. 2 different places to check out this index and to check out this index. That's the issue. Row 2, let me check this. List row 2, list of boolean. So I think I should keep the rec structs fairly akin to the list structs to make things a bit easy, like symmetrical. So if I have 3 different lists of bool, really I should have 3 different lists of recs, not just 1 list of rect. I'm just asking for issues. Kind of keep my structures as symmetrical as possible. It's my rect struct. So let's just say like this. Player tiles 1, player tiles 2, player tiles 3. Construct my rects. Or rather my list. Where am I now? Make sure I'm constructing these properly. Such. I'm adding the variables as they should be, the rects. Okay, I'm just going to zoom out quickly. So for row 1, I should be looking at player tiles 1, row 2, of course, player tiles 2, still index up to 3, and here as well. Let's take this step by step, guys. So let's have a look at what's going on. Let's run the program. Goodness me. It's like over 2 hours and a half, I think. Just approaching 2 hours and a half. Okay, just walking through this fairly leisurely pace. I'm not like, but yeah, always takes a little longer than I anticipated for these kind of videos. I remember one of my vids, it took like over 2 hours, and I was like, ooh, goodness, time just flew. You know, it's like one of the SQL videos or something. So 7, let's try 9, let's try 5. Whoopee, 5's in the middle. Let's try 1, bottom left, bottom right. Let's try bottom middle. Let's try fill the whole square, the whole grid. Alright guys, so we have the visual up and running, more or less. Obviously it isn't without like kind of the need of validation. So I have the power to override the visuals, as you can see, which isn't really good. It would be quite interesting, a game like that, right? Anyway, so what we're going to do now that we have the visuals up and running, let's try and get the game logic complete, like up to par. And then, yeah, we'll wrap up the stream. So I'm going to go back to my update logic. Evaluate user inputs. So guys, let's cross this one out as complete. Program all placements of tiles. And let's go to programming the basic logic. So I just need to perform this check, basically. I'm trying to think where the best place is. Probably at the end of each call. So again, what is this doing? Evaluate user inputs. And I'm updating states, I think. So what I can do at the end of all of that, but I'm returning, that's the issue. But it should be fine because there'll be, as long as number pad is set to escape, I won't be evaluating for number pads 1 till 9. So there'll be a contingency that will fall through here, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And this can be the main part of the logic where I check for any winners. I can play one player one, so I can say, let me try this. Alright, so let's try the obvious contingency. Just a flat out row complete. Let's see how I can do this. I could do a for loop or for each. I could, I'm going to use a nested for loop. Actually, is that even necessary? I could just hard code it. It's not that deep, I think, because there's only so many patterns, right? But then you can do it the dynamic way as well, I suppose, in a sense. Let's just get the proof of concept out there. So if I'm in the update, I need a reference to my list, which is row 1, I think. Listable, that's the one. Check. I'm checking if player 1 or player 2 has made a match. I'll start with row 1. So obviously that's not the right syntax, I know it's not. I'm going to make it general purpose, so I am going to use a loop. Because there might be a situation where I might have to compare different rows. So I'll do like this. I guess in blocks of 3s, if index equals to 0, index is less than, where am I? Update. I'll just say, I'm just going to hard code it for now for speed. and this here I'm checking if index will, at this level of the loop, the index will remain at 0, so I'm at the top row. What am I doing? I don't know if I'm doing that right. I guess I'm structuring it kind of weird. Gosh, I'm doing this so weirdly. Bathroom break soon. Guys, I'm just gonna go for a quick bathroom break as well. Sorry about this. Be right back, guys. Alright guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Brief little pause. There we go. So I had a little bit of a thought. I'm going to keep things as simple as possible. Maybe not the best for coding practices, but simple nonetheless. So let's just say it like this. Let's get rid of the for loop. Let's do a straight up check. If row, just literally, this is not great. Do I have the, oh yeah, okay, I have the operator. My keyboard's a bit funny. So I'm gonna just check true for all the row. Again, this is not the best approach, but it should get the job done for now. Basically, this is checking for the horizontal row at the top. Check row 1. There should be like 5 contingencies. 1, 2, 3. Actually, there's more than 5. 4, 5, 6. And then there's diagonal 7. It says 8 contingencies. Just gonna really do this in the most brute force manner. Not even gonna comment for now. Then I'll say match. And if there's a match, then well, player has won. So I was thinking of just having it like a little pop-up on the screen. I didn't really program a graphic per se, so update loop. Let's try something like this. I think content dialog boxes I have to call from the main window. So if I have just like a little flag here, public is winner initially set to false. Oops, public bool, that is. Where's my main window? Then I can have a reference. Well, doesn't really make a difference. Nah, let's get rid of that. I don't know if this will. Can I do this? Is it called message dialog? Message dialog. I don't know if this. Hopefully, this will pop up correctly. New message dialog. Let's populate the constructor. String. Player 1. Let's just see. So let's just say if for true, player 1. If for false, player 2. Keep things simple. Player 1 is the winner. And I'll just say winner. Something simple. Guys, I am gonna copy this code rather shamelessly because I'm extrapolating in my mind, you know, kind of to make this robust to the point of having like dynamic variables. We'll just take that little bit much more time, and because the stream has been going on for a little bit, I'm just gonna literally just do 8 different contingencies hard coded for now. Again, gonna get the proof of concept out the door, as I like to say. So that's row 1. Let's accommodate for row 2, and then I'll do all the trues and all the falses, I guess. That's like 16 contingencies basically. So much repeated code. Something to actually be improved if I visit this again. Okay, so that takes care of 1, 2, and 3. Let's go ahead and take care of horizontal, vertical. A vertical match. But first, let's just make sure this actually works. I'm not even sure if the message dialog will pop up. But so let's set a break just to be on the safe side. Just update this. I'm just waiting for UWP. Okay, so let's try and get a match here on the top. So let's just pretend we're playing the game. Playing by myself. Gosh, okay, obviously I already failed, so let's just override that if it's possible. So, okay, player 2 is gonna try and go there. Obviously that didn't work as such. I'm just having a bit of fun by myself. Gosh. Okay, so yeah, we've got a match. So obviously row 1, top row, boom, done and dusted. See if the message dialog comes up. Oh yeah, I have to kind of nullify that as well. So let's just say I could reset all the rows to null to kind of restart the game. see if there's like a... I could just use all, if that's the one I need. Just double check. That returns a boolean. Don't really want that. Is it for each? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I want, I think. But boy. Okay, I'm gonna do this the longer way. But a slightly messier way. So I'm gonna just set everything to null manually. Index, increment. I'm just gonna say row. Just trying to wrap this up as quick as I can. Really, I borrowed your guys' time enough already. Row 1 index. That should do it. Flush the slots to null. I'll just do the same for all the other rows. So again, there guys, nearly there. We're nearly there. I'm just a bit worried the message dialog is not coming up. I feel like I have to execute from the main window, or do I have to run like invalidate or something? Oh, show.async, I think maybe. Make sure I'm showing it. Hopefully that does what I need, show.async. Message dialog, show.async. Or maybe just show. No, I'll keep it as show. I think there's a show method. No, there isn't. Oops. Yeah, it runs sequentially anyway because I haven't awaited the method. It's not an async functionality anyway. Where am I? This. I'm not sure if this is gonna work. So let's say go there, go there. Yeah, that's very annoying. I thought that might happen, you know. Yeah, maybe I need to make it awaitable. Hopefully, if it's, let me just check what the signature of my function is. Oh, it's already async void, so I'll just await it. Oh, that's convenient. Check if it's actually nulled. It's false. Nothing's null yet. So I put something here. Oops, what's wrong? Just change that. Put a weight here as well. Put a weight here too. See what happens. Run this again. Oh, press number 8. Press it one more time. Fascinating. There is no winner here. Let's see what's going on. So if I press 8. Ah yes, because I'm only evaluating for true, so I think that's why, at least. So let's try and do this for false. I mean, I'm only evaluating for true, so let's evaluate for true, not false. There we go. I only evaluated for one winner. being player 1. So there we go. Message dialog should theoretically come up, hopefully. Okay, so it's in the it's in the wrong handle basically. So it has to show from the main window. That's fine. But we are literally like 90% there for this first pass of the application, because we are basically determining a winner, and but we haven't done for the second player yet. Albeit really rough code. Just again getting my proof of concept out the window, or out the door rather. I think that's better said. So I'm going to quickly just program for the player 2, and obviously the diagonal match, and then I'm going to deal with the message dialog if I can, and that's it. I'll wrap up the stream. So this is row 1, 2, and 3. What am I doing here? Row 1, row 2, row 3, horizontal. I really don't like copying this, but I'm going to just do it and I'm going to stop complaining. Let's just say vertical check. Vertical will be a little different, so it'd be like row 1, row 2, row 3. Row 1, row 2, row 3, all at the first index values, so it'll be 0, 0, 0. That should be fine for now. I think at least I'm not too sure. I need to double check that. So again, this time it will be row 1, row 2, row 3, but it'll be 1, 1, 1. Pertaining to slot 1, slot 2, slot 3. I mean slot 1, slot 1, slot 1 in row 1, 2, and 3. And then quite similarly, it will be slots 2, 2, and 2. Slot 2, slot 2, slot 2. Now, oh my gosh. Isn't this just hilarious? Let's grab this. Let's just do this. And this is an example of what not to do. Because imagine if there was a situation where there was like a bug. I haven't even checked diagonal yet. In one discrepancy, you have to change for everything. Really don't. This is the part of the walkthrough I say, don't do as I do. I'm just doing this for the sake of time. So just get this proof of concept out the door. So anyway, so let's do diagonal left, right, and then boom, we make it symmetrical. So we want row 1, 2, 3, and then slots 1, 2, and 3. Okay. 2 and 3. And then now we want 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. So row 3, 2, and 1. And we want, if I did that right, it's actually 0, 1, 2. Make sure I did my indexing right. No, I didn't. That should be 0, 1, and 2. Sorry guys. 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0. 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. And that's that one, okay. Horizontal sharp. Should have the diagonal track too. commented. I should be really setting variables, man. Guys, I'm not proud of what I'm writing right now. But I'm just doing it for now. Alright, sweet. That's enough moaning on my part. Test the vertical check. 1, 2, 3, diagonal 1 and 2, I think. 3, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1. Okay, sweet. So player 2 wins. Let's do it like that. So all I have to do is just now check for false. This is so bad. But the good news is, guys, we are actually towards the end of this. I'm just gonna obviously check to see that the message dialog box shows. And then yeah, we have a really rough proof of concept. I mean, for a couple hours or so, I think it's not the worst in the world. It's does what we need it to do, gives us the idea of the concept. And of course, as you'd expect, we just kind of iterate through, making the software leaner, meaner, and, you know, more efficient. So I'm at the bottom now. Sweetness. Hopefully I've got the positioning correct there. Where am I? Let me just get to the top of all that logic. I want to make sure, so yeah, so what I'll do, so I will actually set that bool, maybe the player is winner, because I can't. I'm having threading issues because I'm not in the main window class to call the main dialog box. So I'll just be like, okay, public bool is winner, and I'll just do it. I'll call a check from the update loop to check the state of this variable. And I actually set it to null. True and false will determine player 1 or 2. As such. I'll go here. And I'll call a function. How about like public void check for winner. Where was I? I think I was in my update call, my update loop, or update class rather. I think it's called isWinner. Such. And let's go back to the update. I'll grab this as in here. Every time we have this, it's going to change it, so this should actually be set to true. So every time player 1 wins, his winner is true. Every time player 2 wins, his winner is false. I'm going to just kind of test to see if everything's working. As far as the underlying logic goes. Where am I up to? Okay, sweet. So now player 2 wins, so I'm going to change that to false. Oops. Yep. Over here too. I'll just keep going for now. Actually, I want to copy this code here. Cut that out there. And go back to the main page. And now I'll call this here. Make this an async void. And I'll just say it like this. Alright, we might have a really rough proof of concept. I have to check it. Before I do, actually, I'll just check where we are for time. I'll have to wrap it up. 3 hours would be a nice round number to round this all up on. Let's see what happens. This is quite fun, actually. It's a nice little coding projects. Alright, and then hopefully I can just take off the agenda and then we can wrap up the stream soon. Let me just have a look at what's going on. Might be some bugs I overlooked or something. Or the show async might not work, I'm not too sure. Let's just have a look at what's going on. So let's try and determine a winner straight away. Okay, that's fine. So technically there was a winner because everything got set to null, everything disappeared. Don't know why the message box is not showing up. Let's try 6, 5, and 4. Winner's been determined. Let's try diagonal line. 5, and let's try 9. Again, winner's been determined. Okay, guys, I'm not too sure why the dialog window is not coming up. It's a real shame because it would be a really nice touch. Just make sure. Oh, guys, I'm not even calling the function. That's how you know. 3 hours. As if 3 hours is nothing. But still. Sorry about that, guys. So, check for winner. Let's check that. Where are we checking this? Update. Makes sense. Why don't we do it at the end of the call of the... Let's do it here. Is it here? Yeah, I think it's here. Let's go to the main page ref if I have one here. I'll make that public, hopefully. Alright guys, let's see if this works. Let's wait for UWP to load up. So let's see what happens. So I'm gonna write 7, let's say 2, 8, 4, and then, ooh, I messed up. So 1, ooh, it's anyone's game now, right? Let's go to 9. Still not getting the message pop up. Oh, invalid window handle. API must be called. Okay, so guys, this is because I'm on, let me show you guys real quick. I had to go through this before. It's because I'm on like the player thread, the game thread, and I'm calling a UI thing, a UI component, or I'm calling the control that lives in the UI thread. Don't know if I can find the threading considerations on the documentation. It's here somewhere. Here. So yeah, it's to do with this, I think. So the API must be called from the thread with a call window, but I'm calling it from the game loop. I mean, I could have a dedicated dispatcher timer to check the state, and this could be on the UI thread. But for now, guys, I'm kind of fairly happy with where this is right now. Even though the pop-up isn't showing, which is a bit of a shame. I could just do it via Win2D as well. I could literally do it via Win2D. I don't have any graphics. Do I have any graphics? Let me just quickly check the time. If it's on 3 hours, yeah, let me not go over time. What I could do basically is just use Win2D straight out for the graphics, and that means I won't be worrying about all this kind of invalid API calls across threads. Let's minimize some of this. Let's cross that off the list because we have programmed the game logic. Actually, let's do it like that. Let's run it one more time, just have a look, and then I'll wrap up the stream. Thanks for joining me, guys, for this one. It was quite fun, actually. I made a really simple tic-tac-toe game. You know, you put one down, you all play on one keyboard. I'm just putting down tiles. We have an issue here. Shouldn't even be a winner. So that's something to check. So I did make, there is a bug somewhere. I shouldn't really be calling this. Anyway, but what's interesting, I'm gonna leave a break here because this shouldn't be calling. So let's restart that. What could have, I'm not too sure, I can't really validate this just yet, but there is some sluggishness when I click the buttons. I think it's something to do with the states. Updating to escape on every call, and then I'm like pressing the buttons again to change the states. I'm not too sure about that, I have to check it out. But that shouldn't have really happened. But I'll probably wrap up for now. This is another thing now. This is a question of debugging. Check for, where am I calling this? Oh, it's not. Okay, there's no validation to protect that. Of course I'm calling it in an arbitrary manner. Okay, let's get rid of that for now. What will show us that there's a winner, I suppose, just when everything gets reset to null. As you can see, I'm setting my rows to null to refresh the slots. Hopefully there's no errors here. I think the application is restarting. And let's give it a shot. 7, playing a game of tic-tac-toe by myself. Why not? There we go. That's a winner determined. Let's go. Let's try and make a diagonal line. Let's try one more. Let's do the right hand side. Sweetness, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I had a lot of fun with this one. Do feel free to shout me out on LinkedIn. My name is Teddy-Jimoh on LinkedIn. Had a bit of fun streaming this kind of really quick, rough tic-tac-toe game tutorial. And yeah, you can expect more on the channel, C-Sharp walkthroughs. And please do connect with me. I am on LinkedIn. I'll be very happy to connect with you guys if you have any comments, suggestions, or even project kind of ideas you want to kind of share with me. Have a great, is it afternoon now? It is well into the afternoon. Have a great afternoon, guys. God bless and enjoy your new year. Still week 1. Take care. Let's go to the dashboard. Oh, sweet. Okay, I thought I lost it. Alright, see you guys.